Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So throughout my long career I've been very lucky to train with and learn from some of the greatest fighters and martial arts masters the world's ever seen, and each of them has helped me to develop and become the person I am and achieve the successes that I've managed to achieve over the past 25 years. But today, obviously I'm grateful to each and every one of those people, but today there's one particular one that I want to speak about who has been more of an influence on my life than any of the others, and that of course is my own Sifu, my teacher, Grandmaster DOC FAI WONG. So Grandmaster Wong was born in 1948 in the Wangshan village in Guangdong province in China. That's in the south of China. And in 1960, him and his mom traveled all the way to San Francisco in America, where his father had already been for a few years working. And so they traveled over there to bring the family back together and hopefully have a nice new life in America. So that was 1960. Now, as a small boy, small Chinese boy coming into America, obviously his English wasn't so great. So at that time he was bullied a lot for his language skills and whatever, coming from a foreign country. So one day he decided that he wanted to do something about it, so he went in search of a martial arts teacher. And it was at that time that he came across a Chinese Kung Fu school in Chinatown in San Francisco, and that was run by Lao Bun, who's here on the altar right behind me. Great Grandmaster Lao Bun. So my teacher started to train with him as a young boy, and continued to do so right up until the age of 19, when Lao Bun unfortunately passed away. So that was 1967. And then in 1968, by the summer of 1968, DOC FAI WONG had opened his own school to continue the teachings of his Sifu. And that school has been basically around in San Francisco since that day, and is still there today. In 1970, 74 I think it was, 1974, Grandmaster became the head Tai Chi instructor of the San Francisco City College, and he kept that position right the way until 2003. And in 1975, so now he's in his kind of early 20s, mid-20s, he wanted to get more knowledge because obviously his Sifu had passed away. So he traveled to China, Hong Kong and the southern states of China, and was lucky enough to meet up with two great masters. One of whom was Great Grandmaster Huyan Cho, who's right there on the altar behind me. Huyan Cho was one of the four kings of heaven, which basically were the highest level martial artists in all of China. And the other teacher was the head of the Jiangmen branch of Chole Fa, which was Wong Gong. And Wong Gong is still alive today. He lives in China. He's in his almost mid-90s now, still training every day. So in 1975, my Sifu met up with both of these guys, and they both agreed to teach him all of their sets and all of their knowledge and all of their fighting skills, because he was very dedicated to the knowledge and to pass down the real authentic Chole Fa Kung Fu and Tai Chi. So Huyan Cho at the bottom, he got both of those systems and passed them down to my teacher. And then from 1976 and all the way through till 1997, when great Grandmaster Hu passed away, my Sifu would travel once or twice a year all the way from America to Hong Kong to train with his two Sifus and try to get more and more of the knowledge. So at this point, he became the only teacher who was upholding the three original lineages of the Chole system. Now, in 1987, after an extensive testing, DOC FAI WONG was promoted to the rank of Grandmaster by his two teachers, who both had decided that they wanted to retire at that point. So Grandmaster went back to America in 1987 as the Grandmaster of the system, and it was at that point that he started to set up his own federation, which is the Plum Blossom Federation, which is our global federation. Nowadays, we have almost 2 million members in over 40 countries around the world. So it's one of the biggest traditional Chinese martial art organizations, or any martial art organization in the world. From about 1987 through to 1990 was the beginning of China opening up a little bit, and of major competitions starting to happen in the world of Kung Fu. And Grandmaster led a team in 1987 and in 1990. He led a team to Taiwan, which was at that time the biggest competition around. And his team actually won the whole competition, which at that point was a very, very, very impressive feat, as most of the teams were of Asian origin. And in 1991, he'd become so famous as a Kung Fu instructor in California and through America that he was added to the Who's Who book of California. And also was proclaimed as the Kung Fu Artist of the Year by the Black Belt magazine, which at that time was the biggest martial art magazine on earth. Since those days, he's been featured on more than 20 covers of magazines. He's written somewhere in the region of 200 articles for all kinds of magazines all over the world, in English, in Spanish, in Hungarian, in Chinese, all kinds of different magazines. And he kept doing that actually up until about 2015. So not so long ago. And over the last 20, 30 years, so let's say from 1995 right the way through to probably 2019, just before the pandemic, he was traveling all over the planet, teaching seminars, passing on the true knowledge to people, teaching as much as he could of the system to make sure that things are being passed on correctly. And he's done literally hundreds of seminars all over the world, from obviously the USA, Asia. I brought him into Europe many times, into the UK, and he's traveled later, into Italy and places like this, and then later into even some of the Arab countries like Egypt. He's literally spent almost 30 years traveling and passing on the knowledge. So that's an amazing achievement. As I said in the beginning of the video, I've met so many awesome martial artists, but no one has ever come close in my impressions to my own Sifu. His skills are off the chart. He's such a kind, intelligent and humble man who really has achieved the highest possible level you could imagine in the Chinese martial arts. Some of his peers from his age group chose to go more into the films. Think of Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, both of whom my Sifu knew earlier in his life. They chose to go into movies. Grandmaster chose to stay in the art and dedicate his life to the art. So he's had an unbelievable career, possibly the most accomplished modern day martial arts master, and really an unbelievable example to all of the students. Like I said, almost 2 million students around the world. So that's a little bit about my teacher. He really is the genuine article, and without him I would never have achieved probably any of the success that I have at world level in the last 20 years. So I'm eternally grateful to my Sifu for that, and to his family, who are so supportive and who also have dedicated themselves to furthering the traditional martial arts. And now we're in 2023. Grandmaster is living very, very happily with his wife. They've been married for over 50 years. Back in China, back in Guangdong province where he was born. He has some Tai Chi students over there who keep him busy. Obviously communicating with the Plum Blossom Federation around the world keeps him busy. And he's very, very happy in his life there. Go check out videos, DOC FAI WONG. You can see lots of videos of him on YouTube, or check out on Wikipedia, or go to his own website, which is here, plumblossom.net. And I'll see you on the next video.